Chancellor Sayers, President Saucier, Board Chair McLaughlin, distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, and guests. Good afternoon. I'm Siddhanta Rikeri.
And I'm Laura McKenzie, and together we are your co-valedictorians for this year's graduating Arts Humanities class of 2022.
Before we get started, we would like to recognize that this ceremony and the VIU campus sits on the traditional territories of the Nanaimo First Nations. As well, we would like to recognize the Quadson First Nations, where our Cowichan campus sits.
And the Cohaman First Nations, where the Powder River campus lies in the place I took my first VIU class at. Although land acknowledgements are just one small step, we are looking forward to seeing how VIU will move closer to reconciliation and maintain positive relationships with the First Nations communities and create supportive and culturally relevant environments for Indigenous students.
It is a huge honor for us to be representing our graduating class and celebrating our accomplishments before the next big chapter in our life starts. We want to take this opportunity to reminisce some of the moments we have shared together. Little did we know when we first stepped foot on campus and took part in welcome events like Rock VIU or Storm the Shore, that our education journey would have changed as much as it did and shaped us into who we are now.
It's fair to say our journey here at VIU was not what we totally expected when we first started, but isn't that why we started it? Life is always going to have surprises waiting for us. There will be bumps, failures, and lessons to be learned. But there will also be excitement, wonder, and new people who we will meet and will change our lives when we least expect it. If you were to tell me back in my first year of school that the very quiet guy I never once talked to but still sat beside every day in our Intro to Journalism class would become one of my best friends and stand beside me as my co-valedictorian, I wouldn't have believed you. And I know there are a lot of us here today that found similar friendships, connections, and families during our time at VIU just because one day we decided to say hi.
No matter how long you have been at VIU, I can think we all share an experience and agree that we have learned a lot, both in the classroom and out of it, for good or bad. No matter if it was learning how to properly structure sentences or having our eyes open to important yet untalked significant moments in history, to learning the harsh realities that iced coffee is not proper breakfast and pulling several all-nighters is not good for your well-being. We can look back at the overly expensive piece of paper we are getting today and know we got something out of it.
As we step out into the world as graduates, we want to take this time to remind you that you have done the best you could during your time, and what happens now will not always be in your control. With this chapter of our lives closing, we can all agree that many of us are anxious about starting the next one, because unlike our textbooks, we cannot skip through the pages to see how the next chapter goes. We all know that cheesy line that we are the own authors of our own stories. And as many of us sit here today are people who literally went to school to become an author, this can also bring excitement as every day we live, we add a new page to our chapter. I'm looking at you, creative writing, journalism, and English majors.
As an international student, our experiences are a tad bit different from other students around us. But as I stand here today, I represent every nervous kid who scrambled to gather information before their arrival in VIU, whether it be trying to get your SIM card, your SIN number, or your BCID. From timidly trying to understand the culture here to perfectly blending yourself in this Canadian experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We are gathered here today to celebrate the years we've gone apart from our families to make something of our own. We're here to celebrate the countless memories we've made and people we've met that will continue to shape our lives in the years to come. We're here today to celebrate and to acknowledge our very struggles and our successes. Tonight is our night, and tonight we celebrate how far we've come.
We are entering a world where every individual is trying to prove themselves in their field. But just know you have earned your right to be the best, and you are the best version of yourself from when you first started your time at VIU. For many of us, we were 4 or 5 or 6 years younger, and now finishing our school, we're just as confused about what we want to do next as we were when we first started. And life may take you places you never expected, but that's okay, because we have the rest of our lives to live it out.
Today is the start of a new, joyful, yet daunting phase of our life. But look around you, and we have all had similar experiences, similar fears, similar successes, and similar failures. But we have all pushed through ourselves, and here we are today. And although we may not recognize every face in the gym, just know as we leave here, we have shared this space at VIU together.
We hope the energy you once had when starting school to learn, try new things, and grow stays with you as you move on to the new moments in your life and the new areas of the world.
And as much as we want to look back on the good memories, we as students ourselves, we both know the harsh realities of school are not as picturesque as the images in the yearly view books that VIU makes. But it is filled with interior design students spending hours cutting out and gluing small pieces of paper together to make a house diagram in the second year, just for them to throw it out by the third year. And jazz studies students spending most of their practice time finding a quiet place to practice, or media studies students whose biggest form of motivation and physical fitness is carrying heavy equipment around.
And as we finish off our speech for you today, we want to remind you that although it may seem scary to be heading off to the real world, we have all learned and grown during our time here, and we believe no matter what comes next, we can accomplish anything we put our mind and heart to. To quote my childhood hero and a woman who shaped me into the person I am today, Miss Hannah Montana, life is what you make it, so let's make it rock.
Congratulations, class of 2022. We did it.